Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I am participating in a collaboration and it's a one pot meal collaboration. And the basis is that we should make a full meal in one pot. I chose the crock pot. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the host, Stephanie, of Creatively Miss Me, Decorating on a Budget, and her co-host, Marilyn, of Marilyn's Cozy Lifestyle, for hosting this collaboration. It was a lot of fun. I hope you will enjoy my recipe. The full recipe is at the end of the video where you can screenshot it, take it down, and give it a shot if you'd like. Okay, so as you can see, I am seasoning a roast, and what I am making is a pot roast in the crock pot. So I have several seasonings here. That was garlic powder. I don't use garlic salt because I prefer season all, and I use garlic powder instead. There's some black pepper. Now for this, because this is a totally, as you can see, cut of meat without fat, and I prefer fat because a little bit of fat, not all fat, but a little fat, because it adds flavor. But this doesn't have it, so I had to use a little bit of meat tenderizer. I don't use it often, but for this I did because there was no fat to help this meat tenderize, and I wanted it falling, apart a little bit in the crock pot. So you can see what I'm adding, and that slap your mama. You can see I'm not using a whole lot of it because it has a little bite to it. It will hit you if you're not careful. But I do like the flavor that it adds, and of course our regular olive oil. As I said, a full list, excuse me, of the ingredients will be at the end, as well as the recipe. And you massage the meat. It's what I'm doing, getting all the seasonings on one side. And the thing that I always do, I season both sides. And although I did add meat tenderizer before and not on camera, I also stuck holes in the meat with a knife to make sure the seasonings would go through and season the meat throughout. This was fun. I enjoyed making this, and it's something that I don't make very often, I'll say. Lately, because we've kind of gotten away from red meat, but my husband certainly enjoyed it. I think he misses his red meat. We've been sticking to poultry and fish, and now you have to kind of get away from both of those too. So I guess really it doesn't matter what you eat any longer, I suppose. But I'm doing the same on both sides, all the way down to the olive oil to make sure the seasoning goes through the meat. And that's what you're seeing me do here. So I'm going to add a little music, and I will talk you through it as well. Let me say this too. What you can do here that I didn't do, but I usually do, is I put my vegetables that are going into a dish like this, or if I'm making homemade vegetable soup or whatever, I put those in a bowl with just a tiny bit of olive oil as well. And all of the seasonings that you see me adding to the meat, I also add to the veggies in that bowl and toss those in the seasoning as well, so that everything is seasoned all the way through. I didn't do it this time, but that's just a little tip for you that I normally do. So now we're going to add everything to the crock pot, and I'm going to move it over in just a second. And there goes the potato. We'll just rinse it. But what you will see me do to the crock pot as well is to coat the bottom of the pan with a little olive oil. Olive oil serves so many purposes in my kitchen. Olive oil as well as avocado oil. They both serve a lot of purposes in my kitchen. But I'm just going to coat the bottom with it, and then I will place the meat first, and then the vegetables on top of the meat, as you will see in just a few minutes. That way, nothing you have, although it's a non-stick, but I don't know, it just seems right to me. I cook the way I feel. I don't usually um, measure anything, but I've tried to give you guys a good measurement of what I'm using at the end in the recipe. But as I hear some people say, I cook the way until the ancestors tell me it's wrong. So I cook by feel instead of by measurement. But I hope that I'm able to give you a good feel. So you can see that I have onions, I have green pepper, I have red pepper or orange pepper, I have carrots, and I have potatoes. And that's going to make a pretty good and hearty meal for a chilly day or any day if you like roast beef. So here I'm adding a packet of the Lipton onion soup mix, another layer of flavor for this dish. It will cook down as well. It's just I like layering my seasonings, and this is just another layer of flavor for you. It is optional, of course, but I love it. And now I'm adding beef broth. And I have actually added chicken broth to this dish as well, and it was good. But because at the time for that particular day, I didn't have any beef broth. And I tried chicken, and it was really good. But today I had the beef broth, so I added it. Just moving things around a tad before I get this party started, a party of flavors. And then we will cover. And I started a little late, so I am going to cook this on high. Because I got started a little late, and so it'll be about 4 hours for the size of my roast. And if you have the time, and depending on the size of your roast as well, you could cook it for on slow or low in the crock pot, and you would cook it then for like 6 hours. But it just depends on the size of your roast and the time that you have. Friends, I don't know how that clip got in here twice, but oh well, you've just seen me cover it twice. And I hope that's okay. I don't know how that happened. But, when you're editing these videos, sometimes things get a little discombobulated, and that happened to me today. But once again, I'm just moving it around a bit, and now I will add the top once again. And we will get to cooking. And this is what it looks like about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours later. And after looking at it this time, I'll just let you know that I did let it simmer for another, I'm going to say this was about the 2.5 hour point, because I did let it cook again for about 30 minutes before dinner was served, which is coming up next. So it turned out great. The meat is tender. The vegetables are just right. That's why I put them on top and not on the bottom, because I didn't want them to overcook. I wanted them to have a little oomph still to them and not be mushy. And they did. As you can see, that they're not falling apart, just the meat, which is what I wanted. And so I am serving it up. And I'm going to that was my bowl, and I'm going to make one for hubby as well. Nope, I'm wrong. This was hubby's bowl. I forgot I was having trouble serving it up with that wooden spoon. But you see how that meat is just falling apart? I love that. Get that knife out of there, Clarissa. You don't need it. And so this is hubby's bowl, and then I will fix one for me. As I said, he enjoyed this. We hadn't had red meat in a little bit. It's been a little minute. So that is bowl number 1. And you will see me fix mine. And then you will see me taste to see if the flavors did go through. Now, we all know, if you're a cook, that this will be better tomorrow once it sets up and everything. But I tasted and it was good. It was yummy. I hope you will give this a try. Um, with the seasoning tips like, seasoning both sides, adding a little olive oil to the bottom. And if you have time, season your vegetables, which I didn't do for this one, like I said before, as well, and then put them in. But it will be it's very, very good now, but it will be exceptionally good tomorrow once everything sinks in. It's kind of like a spaghetti sauce. Here are the ingredients, the full recipe, and I hope that you will screenshot that. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Stephanie and Marilyn for hosting and co-hosting this collaboration. Be sure to check out both their channels to see what they're up to in the kitchen, as well as the playlist, when it's available, will be added to my description. It was a lot of fun. I hope you have enjoyed it as well. And I'm going to take this time to do what I always do, to remind you to find something today to bring joy into your life. And once you find your joy, share it with someone else. Be mindful and be kind. We're all going through a lot right now. And just be kind to people. It's just so easy to do. I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Bye-bye.